हाँ, तो आज दादी आ गई फिर से,
हाँ
ये सब याद करने लग रहे थे दादी को,
हाँ,
तो
अच्छा
मैंने कहा मैं मिलवा दूंगा।
हाँ
तो जल्दी
लियो
से
उठा तो उठ लियो
पैर पुचकार लो दादी के, तो दादी आशीर्वाद दे दे फिर। दादी आशीर्वाद दे दो इन बालकों ने। दादी पहले
मेरे दो
सज के
पोते हुए
आशीर्वाद दे।
हैं पोते की बहू है रही पड़ोते हो रहे दो
आशीर्वाद दे दो बालकों को।
हाँ आशीर्वाद बने रहो भगवान करके तुम दूधा नाइयो और मौज ठाठ में रहियो अपने माँ बाप की सेवा करियो हाँ
हाँ
चाहे को मैं भी भकाऊँ तो किसी की भकाई ना मानियो
हाँ
माँ बाप तो माए बाप हो है
हाँ
ये मारे बालक से ये तो मानो कुछ मेरे छोरे हैं किससे की नहीं मानना
अच्छा।
किससे की नहीं मानना
हम्म।
और घड़ा रोड़ा करते इनका गद्दे ही मारो हूँ
So this is me working from my bedroom. So when the COVID restrictions are in place in Delhi right now, so that means that the office at our house is now a highly competitive space. Not everyone can get it, and if someone gets it, then the others don't get it. So I didn't get it today. So this is where we'll be working from today. Let's see how this goes.
Back to the wrong school. 150 years ago, adults were incensed about child labor. Low wage kids were taking jobs away from hardworking adults. Sure, there was some moral outrage at 7-year-olds losing fingers and being abused at work, but the economic rationale was paramount. Factory owners insisted that losing child workers would be catastrophic to the industries and fought hard to keep the kids at work. They said they could not afford to hire adults. It wasn't until 1918 that nationwide compulsory education was in place. Part of the rationale was to sell this major transformation to industrialists was that educated kids could actually become more compliant and productive workers. Our current system of teaching kids to sit in straight rows and obey instructions isn't a coincidence. It was an investment in our economic future. The plan trades short term child labor wages for long term productivity by giving kids a head start in doing what they're told. Large scale education was never about teaching kids or creating scholars. It was invented to churn out adults who worked well within the system. Of course, it worked. Several generations of productive, fully employed workers followed. But now, Nobel Prize winning economist Michael Spence makes this really clear. There are tradable jobs making things that could be made somewhere else, like building cars, designing chairs, and answering the phone, and non tradable jobs like mowing the lawn or cooking burgers. Is there any question that the first kind of job is worth keeping in our economy? Alas, Spence reports that from 1990 to 2008, the US economy added only 600,000 tradable jobs. If you do a job where someone tells you exactly what to do, they will find someone cheaper than you to do it. And yet, our schools are churning out kids who are stuck looking for jobs where the boss tells them exactly what to do. Do you see the disconnect here? Every year we churn out millions of workers who are trained to do 1925 labor. The bargain, take kids out of work so we can teach them to become better factory workers, has set us on a race to the bottom. Some argue we ought to become the cheaper, easier country for sourcing cheap, compliant workers who do what they're told. We will lose that race whether we win or not. The bottom is not a good place to be, even if you're capable of getting there. As we uh, as we get ready for the 93rd year of universal public education, is the question every parent and taxpayer needs to wrestle with. Are we going to applaud, push, or even permit our schools, including most of the private ones, to continue the safe but ultimately doomed strategy of churning out predictable, testable, and mediocre factory workers? As long as we embrace or even accept standardized testing, fear of science, little attempt at teaching leadership, and most of all, the bureaucratic imperative to turn education into a factory itself, we are in big trouble. The post industrial revolution is here. Do you care enough to teach your kids to take advantage of it? Okay, so a very meaningful blog about how the current school system is actually designed to produce employees for the factory, and that is how it is even till date, when even when like the factory is not the main kind of occupation that most people go into. It's still the education, the way it's designed, it's still the same, and that is pretty wrong. That we need to redesign education to suit the present requirements and to actually churn out leaders who can start their own companies and sensible thinkers who can think for themselves and not just follow the instructions they are told. And that can only happen if we change the way the school functions. Because right now the school functions in a way that you're given instruction, you have to follow the instruction. You're given homework, you have to do the homework. You're told what is right, and you just get it. You just take it in. But that's not how it should be. Questioning should be encouraged in school. Question everything, and curiosity should be built up in school. It should be ingrained in each and every student. Yet you should be curious about what you're learning, not just learning for the sake of marks, but learning to actually put it to use. And that is how education should be structured. We'll see how it happens in future, how someone goes around and makes changes to school. We don't see it happening much at the present moment, but I have this belief that it will happen sooner or later. But it's been a long time since it's due. The change in the school system is due for a long time. Who will bring it about? We are here to see. Okay. That was the vlog for today. I did some interesting stuff today, and here we are at the end of the day. I'll rate this day as pretty decent in terms of productivity. But tomorrow we'll look to do better. Okay, bye bye. See you tomorrow.